Just checking to make sure we are up and running. And there it is. Yay! Happy Friday, everyone. It's already 7:30. Normally I'm on like a few minutes early, but I was helping get Alex down and snuggling him. So I always enjoy those little snuggles with him in his PJs. He's so cute. But anyway, I'll give you guys all a second to jump on and get settled before we get started with this filled with fun card class. I am really surprised at how much I am loving this stamp set. I kind of thought it was very kiddish, and I was like, how many kid cards do I need? But I really, I don't even know if I'm going to send these to kids. Not that I don't, love kids and everything, but, I don't necessarily feel like they're that kiddish of cards now that I've, started playing with them. I just find them to be super cute and fun and flowers and stuff like that. So I'm super loving it for that fact as well. And I was able to create a lot of fun cards that didn't necessarily show off the full wagon and everything. So there's just a lot of versatility to this stamp set. So I'm super excited about it. So yeah, if you're jumping on, give me a little shout out, give me a heart. Say hello. I'd love to chat with you guys. You guys know, I love to talk anyway, but I love to talk with somebody else too, and not just to myself all the time. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started. I'm Laura with LaurasStampPad, and this is the March 2024 free online card class. So it's free for you to watch the card class, pick up any tips and tricks and samples and ideas along the way. That is what I'm here for, to share what I love, and I love what I do. So that is what we're going to do. If you do wish, there are some options to do more with the class that are a paid-for option. Of course, you can go to my Etsy shop, LaurasStampPad.etsy.com, which you can see the link down below in the corner. And you can get the PDF tutorial for this. So it has color photos, extra information, a shopping list to make sure you have all the supplies, step-by-step detailed instructions and everything else to follow along, all the cutting measurements and stuff. That is an instant download. So if you went and did that right now, you would have it instantly to be able to follow along. And then also, they're all sold out. Usually they're sold out by the time the class happens, but they're all sold out. I do have pre-cut card packs. So the cardstock is pre-cut, envelopes, embellishments, all the stuff you need. All you need to do is stamp and assemble. So that is another option. And I do have that prior to the class, but usually they're sold out by the time the class actually, the online class actually happens. So if you want to make sure that you get that, then check out the description and sign up for my mailing list, and then you'll get first dibs on that each month. So tonight we're doing the Filled with Fun, which is this stamp set here with the coordinating dies. The dies are so detailed and super fun. There's so many dies for all the images in the set. So you have a die for the cake and for the flowers. There's a die for the banner. There's a balloon die. And then there's a complete die for all the pieces for the wagon. So there's a wagon base, and then there's a wood piece that we'll be using as well. So it's got really detailed wood lines in it. That's super fun. And then of course the wheels, which also are a 2-piece wheel set to give extra texture and everything with that. And then the handle too. There's also the balloon and a balloon string. There's always a delay, so I was trying to hold that until it came up. And then there's this Well, I felt like there was something else, but now I can't think of what it is. The banners. Did I mention the banners? Yes. So yeah. I'm sorry. I hope I'm not coughing a lot, but my allergies have been awful. And then like, I feel like it went to my lungs and yeah. It has been a crazy week this week at our house. Just trying to survive. And then of course realizing that spring break is next week. So I didn't get everything done that I really wanted to get done, but life goes on, right? Okay, so we're going to start with this one. So if you have your card packet, then you're going to want to get out the one with crumb cake as the card base. So first we're going to start with folding our card base in half. And as you can see, this one is very basic and doesn't have anything with the wagon on it. I simply took 3 strips of paper. If you'll notice, I used a lot of the Brights collection. So I'm using Granny Apple Green, Daffodil Delight, and Azure Afternoon. And then I simply just took images from the stamp set and stamped them tone on tone, so Daffodil Delight onto Daffodil Delight, to make like my own little designer paper. So one of the things that you want to do is you want to kind of rotate the image around, and you also want to make sure that you're falling off of the cardstock. By doing so, it makes the image look like it is continuous and not like it is contained. So here's mine, but like, let me show you, if I didn't fall off the paper, then you kind of end up like with something like that. And you can see how it looks so contained in this image, but then you can see how it looks so much more natural and also like it's continuous whenever you fall off of the paper. And so like, I just, sometimes it's like, I literally just put a little like dab on the corner. It doesn't look like a heart, but it does make that pattern look continuous and everything. Okay, so that is our Daffodil Delight. And then we're going to pull in Granny Apple Green and do those banners. I didn't realize how much I love these banners apparently, because like almost every single card uses the banner. And so with this one, you're just going to kind of swag to the left, swag to the right. I didn't connect them like at the intersection or, here at all, just because I didn't want it to look too clumpy. So I just kind of swagged here and there. And then I'm also going to swag on my inside white piece. And why don't we go ahead and decorate that envelope a little bit. So I'm going to do the back lip, which means that I can't like fall off the top. So I'm a little nervous. That was a close one. So there's my little banner swags on the back of my envelope. And then I think I'm going to do on the envelope, I'm going to do little hearts in the corner. And then, of course, we still have our Azure Afternoon. I'm like tossing ink pads in different directions as to not like get my hands in them. And then this is the little confetti bit. And like you could go like not coverage, like full coverage on the confetti bit. But I did because I'm crazy like that, but that's okay. I just wanted it to look full. So how many of you are traveling for Easter or going somewhere for spring break or any of that. We are not traveling for spring break. We're not really traveling for Easter either. We're going to my parents, so like it's an hour away, but I wouldn't really call that traveling for Easter. So there's that, and then I'm actually going to do a little bit on the bottom of my card base for the inside. So now we're ready for some assembly. So this obviously is going to go on the inside of our card. And then we'll put those 3 panels on the card front. And they can be in any color or, you know, arrangement that you wish. You can mix and match them however you want. You can also put space in between them, or you can put them like butt up next to each other. But my biggest recommendation is to put the center one down first. And you can do center as best as you can. There's no, like, let's be honest, I'm not going to get it in the center. If you wanted to really measure and get out a ruler, you certainly could, but I'm just going to do my best and center it. Ooh, I had adhesive on my finger. And then now I'm going to do those 2 side panels. Oop, almost put my banners on upside down. Okay, and then I use the greeting from the Nested Essentials dies. And got this super fun greeting. So it's got that little like dotted outline, and then it's really good for like a long skinny greeting. So I have celebrating someone special, and I'm going to ink that up in the Granny Apple Green. Fabulous. And then we'll add that to the card front with some dimensionals. Well, this pack of dimensionals has just the edge. No dimensional left behind though. I still use all those edges, but I won't mess with the edge tonight. So we're just going to add this. And really you could add whatever color you wanted. The yellow might come out like a little light, so you do have that. But you could have definitely used the Azure Afternoon versus using the Granny Apple Green. And you can mess with that and, you know, pick your color. You could even go with black. And then I use, these are the rainbow adhesive back dots. And I just used the blue ones. The big blue ones are all gone. That's okay. I will use the little ones. And, well, my take your pick tool is not being very sticky. So I'm just going to pull off the putty, twist it just a little bit. It might like look like it's not coming out, but it will come out more and more as the class goes on, which I'll try to remember to show you later. So just have some patience with that. Like you can see it's already coming out more and more. And I'm just adding those. They're almost like little like buttons or rivets holding the banner on. A lot of times I call this now the bulldozer. I feel like people like the word bulldozer better than take your pick tool with the putty. So the best way to use it is to use it like a bulldozer, push the side of your jewel and then get it to unstick from this plastic and then set it down and sort of back up your bulldozer. So you're going to push and then back up. And that is card number 1. How fun and simple is that? Creating your own designer series paper with the fun little images in this stamp set. You could do different color combinations. You could do like shades of the same color, like shades of blue, shades of pink, and do the different images on each one, or even the same image on each one would be so stinking cute. But I love the layout of the three panels, and then just a simple greeting in the middle. And it's fabulous. You could do it with black and white too. Black and white would be, I really love black and white. For some reason, I'm seeing black and white and shades of purple. Oh, that would be stunning. So yeah, let me know in the comments which colors you would use for your 3 colors. Would you use the same like shade, or would you use, or you know, like same color, different shades, or do you like the 3 different colors? So that is card number 1. Look at us zipping through that. Okay, card number 2 is one of the Azure Afternoon ones. There's 2 of them. So this is the one with Poppy Parade. So this is your card packet. Also, I know we always talk about weather on here. During COVID, then I felt like I always talked about the weather, and I always talked about meals. We could still talk about meals because I need all the inspiration on meals ever. But what is up with this weather? It is just yo-yoing up and down. Like every night before I go to bed, it's like tomorrow, 12 degrees warmer. Tomorrow, 8 degrees colder. Tomorrow, 22 degrees warmer. It's just crazy. Okay, so I fold the Azure Afternoon in half, and then I'm not actually going to layer my Poppy Parade onto my card base just yet. And I'm going to show you why I don't. Like, if you did, it's fine. It's no big deal. Kind of like build up from the bottom layer up. But I'm going to show you one of the tricks of why I'm not actually going to put the Poppy Parade on just yet. And that is in case I need to trim off a little extra. Like, let's be honest, we sometimes, you know, when you cut that cardstock, if you cut it like on this side of the 5.5 or on that side of the 5.5, then you have like a little bit hanging off. And so I like to then, you know, look at it and use the edge as my guide to trim off any little snippets that there might be. So that's why I'm not putting the Poppy Parade on just yet. So first we're going to take this long strip, and I'm going to need a chamois, because we got to clean our banner, which we'll be cleaning a lot. Like I said, I think I used it for like every single card. Okay, so a light little tap, tap, tap in the ink. And we're just going to do banner swags all down this piece. And you can do them tighter, like a tighter angle, or you can do like really like steep angles. It just kind of depends. There's no like you need to do 4 of them, you need to do 6, like none of that. I almost don't know if I need one up there, but I'm going to say stop while you're ahead. So I'm going to do that. And then let's see, what did I do on the inside of this one? I did do banners at the top. So we're going to do banners inside of our white. And that also means we'll do some banners. We're going to do them on the on the front of the envelope this time. And I know a lot of that's going to be covered up with the return address or the stamp, but it's still cute. Okay, so now we're going to add this strip to that Poppy Parade. All my pieces are going everywhere. And there's going to be a little border of red, Poppy Parade, on the left-hand side. Or you could put it all the way. That's okay. And we'll add that. And then we have our Azure Afternoon that we're just going to add across the bottom. So if you ever make a boo-boo on any of your banners and you're like, I want this up here, down here, somewhere else, That's perfectly fine. Just remember you also have your balloons. So you don't want to put it like too high, or otherwise make sure it's high enough that your balloons still have room towards the bottom. So I'm going to put mine here. And this is going to go side to side, flush to the edge. And the white is also going to go flush to the edge. Again, that's why I didn't go all the way, or I didn't put my Poppy Parade down until after I put all these layers on top of it, just in case one of them goes a little over the edge. So now we have our Poppy Parade, and I didn't clean that, but we're all good. Whoops. Celebrating someone special. And if you choose to do a different greeting, you could always kind of make this a little bit wider. It doesn't have to be this dimension. A lot of times I just pick like my scraps of white and I'm like, hey, look, that greeting fit. So if you wanted a different greeting, you could also go a little bit wider with your white and your Azure Afternoon. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of look at the back. I feel like there might be a little bit here, but I also don't know if it's so little. There. A little snippet came off, but not much. But yeah, otherwise it looks good. No overhang. So now we can add that to our card front. And we're also going to stamp the sending loads of happiness, again, in that Poppy Parade. And we're going to stamp that on the inside. Super cute. And then this will go on the inside of our card. And then we have those cute balloons to add to the front. So I've actually die cut the balloons. There's 2 balloons. So the bonus to that is to get these 3, you only have to crank through twice, not 3 times. But what I actually did is I die cut 2 red, 2 blue, and then 2 of this fabulous More Dazzle designer paper. And then I can make 2 cards, because I'll always recommend make 2 cards of every card that you do, because a half a sheet of cardstock is 2 card bases. And the layers on the inside, you have to, you're cutting it usually in 4 pieces. So there's 2. Of course, it's 2 more. You could make 4 cards, but I won't push it, okay? And then with this, I have my 2 reds, my 2 blues, and my 2 dazzles. So I have die cut those already. There's my Azure Afternoon. Here is my red and my dazzle. And then I have the white baker's twine. So what I'm going to do with the white baker's twine is I'm going to take a dimensional and the baker's twine and pop it on the back. And now it's holding my twine onto the back of my balloon. And then I'm going to do another one. And then I'm going to make a decision. Do I need a second dimensional? Which my answer is almost always yes. You guys know I'm a dimensional overuser. And then I also need to determine the length. So one of the other things that I can do to determine the length is set my balloons down. And my length is going to be about here. So then now I have this last piece to add to the More Dazzle and my dimensional. secure that on there. Ooh, I already took the backs off. What was I thinking? I don't know that I'm ready for that. Okay, I guess we're going to do this then. So, kind of just need to just wing it. Just one balloon down. We're going to do the more dazzle in the middle this time. Another balloon. I will say, for some reason, my red balloon in my original sample, the ribbon wants to go like hidden. So like everybody was like, oh, your red balloon doesn't have a string. But like I left them loose so that they looked, you know, more real. So it's there. He just likes to kind of hide and swoop with his friends off to the side. So he's there. But I left him like swaggy, and then he kind of likes to go like that. And then he looks like he's not there. So, whatever. It's okay. I'll forgive you, little balloon. And then if you have extra, or if you want to do this, you could always just leave your balloons, you know, dangling like that. There's nothing wrong with that. You can also take the twine and tie it around all of your little balloon tails. And I just did a single knot, like no bows, no craziness, just a single knot. And then I trimmed the tails of that to where all of my tails were the same length, or about the same length. You can have them vary a little bit. And then I took a mini glue dot and placed it under the knot and press that knot in there. So that one's a little bit tighter. Especially my blue balloon. He's really trying to get away. Again, the dazzle one is a little bit loose. The red one's a little loose, and my blue one is pretty snug. But that's okay. That is card number 2. Look at us. I feel like I'm zipping through these. Yes, in my original, somehow I must have got that like smear. I didn't notice it until I was taking pictures of the card, and I was like, no. But you know what? I really don't think anybody's going to notice or care. And if anything, I'll write the name of who I'm sending it to, like right there, and it'll kind of cover up some of that. And you might also be looking at it saying, I don't even see what she's talking about. So it's so subtle, and it's okay. It'll be fabulous. Made with love, not perfection, which I heard from one of my stamp girls that attends classes, and I've stolen it. I love it. She's amazing. Her name is Deb. So shout out to Deb. But yeah, she has always said made with love and not perfection, and it's so true. So this is card number 2. Card number 1 is this one. Let me know which one you guys are loving the best. And we will move on to card number 3, which is the second one that is Azure Afternoon. Hi, Denise. Look at you from Colorado now. Aw, I'm so happy that you're in Colorado. I hope you're settling well. Moving is definitely not for the faint of heart. It's hard. Oh, I don't think I ever want to move again. Especially now that we have 2 kids, because we only moved with 1 kid, and I can't imagine moving with 2. And I didn't think that we had a lot of stuff, and then you move. So if you ever think you don't have a lot of stuff, try moving. You'll be really surprised. Okay, so now we're doing the second Azure Afternoon card. We're going to go ahead and fold that card base in half. I bet there's a little bit of a weather difference from Texas to Colorado. That I don't think I'll be prepared for. And so then we have our Berry Burst. Again, another another Brights color collection. And this stunning sheer ribbon, it comes as a 3-pack, perfect for spring because it comes in this Azure Afternoon. It comes in Lemon Lolly and what is the last color? Is it Coral? I don't remember what the other one was. But it's so stunning. It's very lightweight. And it has a little silver stitch on the top and the bottom. So super, super cute. So I tied that on. I don't really know why I did that first. But then we also have all of our white pieces. So obviously the big white piece is going to go on the inside. Then we have our square. Well, actually, this is not a square. And I definitely want to let you guys know. It's not a perfect square. It's 3 by 3.5. So you want to make sure that whenever you stamp your image, you're not like this. That you're side by side. And the way you can check that is to make sure there's the nice border around there. So guess what? We're stamping banners again in blue. So we don't have to change our ink color this time. So again, tap, tap, tap in the ink. And banner. And I really stamped it like off. My banner's off. Oh, that's funky looking. I don't know. Do I like that? That looks weird. I'm going to try the back side. Okay. We're going to swag and actually like try to keep banners halfway and halfway. Okay. I like that one better. That other one just looked funky because there was like this weird opening there. And then I'm going to stamp the balloons and birthday cake. Or I'm sorry, there's no balloons. Birthday cake and presents in Memento Black ink. And my biggest suggestion for this is fall off the bottom, okay? Because you would rather have your image falling off the bottom and like missing a portion of like that bottom strip of the present than having your image float. So whenever you go to stamp, then just make sure it falls off the bottom. Because you're better off going like too low than you are going high. And then I colored this with Stampin' Blends. And after the last class where I was coloring forever and you guys were super bored, then I decided, do you want to say hi to everyone?
Hi.
Night-night. Sleep tight. I'll give you a kiss later. Love you. So I went ahead and I colored. So I used Stampin' Blends. It looks like I'm going to have to do my banners yet again. Hopefully I don't mess them up this time because I've already colored. I used Berry Burst, Azure Afternoon, and Daffodil Delight. So I did the stripe on the banner. You can see I hand did. So just wing it. It'll be fabulous. It'll be fine. But like I just started like in the corner and did like 3 strips, moved a little bit, do 3 strips. By strips I mean like 3 marker swatches, 3 strips. And there you have the little stripes. Just adds a little extra to it. And then I didn't do the full cake. I just did the drips and the scallops. And you can see, well, actually, are there scallops on? No, there's not scallops on the bottom of that cake. So you don't have to worry about, like, did I miss any of that? And then, yeah, I just used, this is Dark Daffodil Delight, Light Daffodil Delight. Light and dark, Azure Afternoon, and then the Berry Burst. So, Magic Television, that one is already done. And we are going to go ahead and add that to the top of our card here. And then I have a funky tip for this one. Look at this. So it says, celebrating you. And you're thinking, that's not what the greeting says. It says, celebrating someone special. And it also says, you make my heart bloom. Yeah, I did. I did it. I just inked up the 2 spots. Oh, you need to, oh, hi, Brenda. You need to unpack your Stampin' Up. That should be the first thing that you unpack, Denise. Hi, Lisa. I'll be sure to let Claire know that you said hello. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I have this little bitty strip. It's a scrap strip of white, so I didn't spend a ton of time cutting it. It's just like the leftover piece whenever you cut the inside pieces for the white, 4 by 5 1/4. So this is leftover, so I have plenty to practice with. So I'm just going to ink up celebrating. So I have my Azure Afternoon, and I'm just going to go right on the edge to get that celebrating and stamp it down. Nailed it. This one is much easier. We're just going to do you. So it's just that last word. Celebrating you. It's off-centered, but I think it's okay. And maybe I'll add a jewel or something. Or should I try again? I'll try again. That'll give you guys another chance to watch. Okay, so celebrating. This time I got a little bit of the S. So one of the things that you can do for that is take a Post-it note and place it over it. So now it's not going to stamp down. Celebrating. This time I'll probably be like off in the other direction. But you know, that's the best thing. There's 2 sides of every piece of paper. So try twice, pick the best one. Celebrating you. Ooh, that one's better. So you can mask by using a Post-it note, or you can, like, some of the images are easier to just get a portion of that stamp in the ink pad. But that's still an option. You know, you can also like wipe at it, but sometimes even if when you wipe at it, then it like leaves like a little like splotch. Again, you can always embellish with a little jewel right there if you don't get it right the first time. So no worries there. So then this is going to go on the bottom. And again, if you wish to do celebrating someone special, you certainly could, and you could just use a bigger piece of white there. Now I'm just going to squeeze the sides of my Berry Burst and pull my ribbon down a little bit. And I'm going to offset my ribbon. I don't know. I always feel like I like it a little offset than centered, probably because I can't do centered, so. Because I'll be like, well, that's not centered. That's a little off. So I purposefully do it off. And then with this, I put it on with Stampin' Dimensionals. And you know what? I'm going to use the edge. Since I can use like big pieces. So we will use the corners. On the corner. And the straight pieces on the straights. Who would have thought? And yes, that's probably like way too much dimensional, but that's okay. Did you guys all notice my shirt? Hanging with my peeps. I love peeps. And you know, I'm so excited. So many of you guys said that you love peeps too. And that makes me very excited. I feel like a lot of people, you either love them or you hate them, I feel like. There's not really like an in-between. And whenever I posted about it, I felt like a lot of you guys were loving them. And it just makes me happy. So then I did Sending Loads of Happiness. And then I stamped just a portion of this image in the Memento Black and colored it in. So you could do, like, you could even do just the cake and a flower. Or, I'm sorry. Boy, you guys know how much I love flowers. The cake and one of the presents. And do this side. Or you could do the cake and the banner and do the other side. I also stamped that Sending Loads of Happiness. But I stamped that in blue. So I need to clean this off. And I will go ahead and color this one with all of you guys. I didn't really do any sort of like special blending. I simply just colored lights and darks. But you certainly could add shading to your cake and your presents. I am so back and forth on which tip I tend to use. I used to always use like the big marker tip. And then like people would ask like, you know, well, which side do I use? And I'm like, it's really personal preference. But I use the marker tip. And then now I feel like I use the pen tip more often. And so now I'm just back and forth. This one, for some reason, my Daffodil Delight, the marker tips are like, looks like a Wolverine attacked them. I don't know what happened to them, but it's both of the yellow markers. And I don't really think it was Claire. So I can't blame it on her. So now I'm using the other two, which I think these are both the darker ones. Oh no, it's dark Azure Afternoon, but light Berry Burst. So on the cake I did dark Berry Burst and light Azure Afternoon. See, and it's fine to go like to the bottom of your cardstock with the present and the cake rather than floating. So like I said, always have it just hanging off the bottom, because that's better than having a floating cake. I love coloring with Stampin' Blends. I like how they bleed, so it does a little extra for you. I like how the color is so vibrant and rich, because you guys know how I really like to go dark and bold with my images. I was definitely the one that like broke crayons as a kid. And like, I don't know, they just make me feel like a professional with the coloring versus like having streaks and like, and I'm not even the best, I don't feel like, with shading and stuff like that, but I do feel like the blends make me feel a little bit more like a professional. And then guess what? We're just going to add some banners to our, I almost feel like I want to do like side banners. I feel like there. That might be, maybe made it worse. Like little like side banners, like scallop edges almost. Just to mix it up, but I don't know, it kind of looks funky. And I totally got ink out in the middle. Well, that didn't work. I wouldn't recommend that. But you guys might also be looking at it going, Laura, why do you have it on such a big block and diagonal? Normally I do okay with that, but apparently not tonight. So I'm going to clean that off. I think I need it cleaned off for the next card anyway, since we're using it in yellow the next card. But I really think the envelope will be fine because my return address will go here and cover up that spot, and then the actual address will go there. But this is card number 3. Super, super cute. Again, we still haven't used that wagon yet. We will on the next 2 cards, so don't you worry about that. But you can get such beautiful cards that aren't necessarily, you know, kid cards that look great for any occasion. And like this could be perfect for a bridal shower or a baby shower. There's card number 2 and there's card number 1. So let me know which one you're loving so far. And we will start with card number 4, the one that is Poppy Parade. I kind of think I might be done with Azure Afternoon. So I will say this card is the number 1 card. Everybody loved this card. They fell in love with it. I don't know if it's the nostalgia of the red and yellow or like the black and red. I don't know what it is. But this card was like leaps and bounds the number 1 card that everyone was loving. So we're going to fold our Poppy Parade card base in half. And then with this one, we can go ahead and add some of those layers to our card front. So you can add your basic black to your Daffodil Delight. And then you can add that to the card front with Stampin' Dimensionals. And I might use this last strip down the middle. Oh, and then there's another little piece. So yeah, if you're following along either with the card kit that that I mailed you or with the PDF tutorial, that's why I always like to let you know like which card I'm working on and stuff. And if you're wondering what both of those things are, check out my Etsy shop to download the PDF tutorial. And then, of course, join my mailing list so you don't miss out on those pre-cut card kits that I have available while supplies last before the class begins. Sometimes I have 1 or 2 kits left at the time of the online class, but usually they're sold out. So now we have our 2 white pieces. Obviously, the bigger one goes on the inside, and then the other one is our fabulous little wagon here. So we have a couple pieces to the wagon. You have the wagon base, and then you have the wheels. And then you also have the handle. So there's a couple tricky things with this. One, I don't want my wagon floating. I want my wheels on the ground. But I also need my wheels to be separated to fit the grooves of my wagon. And then I also need to make sure I have room out front. I don't want to center my wagon, or otherwise I might not have room for my handle. So what I found to be the easiest, you can practice on your own with some grid paper or figure out what you like the most. But what I found to be the easiest was to stamp that back tire first. Okay. So I'm going to stamp that on the ground in the back, like what do I say? Like the back, like quarter. This might have been a little too far back. And I actually feel like I want to stamp. I know, Denise, isn't this adorable? I want to stamp this again. I feel like there. It needed to be like just a little bit darker. And since I lined it up good, then we're good. The wagon is adorable. So adorable. Okay, so after you stamp your back tire, now I'm going to stamp my wagon in the Poppy Parade. Notching that back tire in the back of the wagon. And again, you almost want to see a little bit of black on that stamped image. That way your wagon is actually on the tire and it's not floating. So if you're thinking like, oh, I see a little bit, I need to go up some. If you go up some, it's going to be floating just a bit. Go ahead and overlap it. That black is going to cover up. You're not going to see the overlap. And instead, it's going to be notched in there just perfectly. Then we're going to stamp that second tire, that front one. See, and then that one's like floating just a little bit. But we're going to say it's the axle's fault, okay? And then we're going to stamp our handle. One of the other tricks that I have for you about the handle, again, make sure that the black is touching that red. But if for some reason you don't have enough space, again, take your Post-it, put it at the edge of, like here, let me see. I'm going to, where can I do this on my grid paper? Okay, so here's our wagon. And let's just say, like, we don't have enough room for our handle because we're at the edge of the paper. So one of the things that you can do is you can shorten your handle by putting your Post-it note at the edge of the red. I just have like a little peeking out right here. And then stamp your handle closer. See how you have a shorter handle now? But you don't really want a shorter handle by, by stamping it all the way in, because then it looks like that. So you would use the Post-it to make a shorter handle and to cover that up so that your handle still fits. So I hope I didn't confuse anybody with that. And it gave you a little tip for getting the placement of that. I also feel like my tire is going flat up front here. Do I want to redo that? Let's try again. We'll do the back. Again, it'll give me a chance to show you guys again. So tires on the ground. That one was good. I will say with multi-step stamped images, sometimes it can be so frustrating to stamp the first one good, the second one good, and then it goes downhill and then you just get frustrated. I get that. Okay, that one was good. I think I was more concerned about the wagon than I was with the ground, and I needed to be more concerned with the ground. I still am a little bit flat tire up front, but I don't really think anybody will notice, so we're all good. I like that one a lot better. Okay, and then we are going to stamp our flowers. And again, it's okay if your flowers are looking like they're going to touch the red. You want them to touch the red. Otherwise, you're going to have floating flowers. So go ahead and have that little smidge of overlap rather than having floating flowers. You'll be perfect, okay? Promise. And I did very basic coloring with this. I simply colored in the center of all my flowers with Daffodil Delight. You can pick whether you want light or dark Daffodil Delight. You guys know I went with dark because I always want that bold, bright color image. And then I used Granny Apple Green, light or dark. I'm going with dark mostly because this is the first one I grabbed. Ooh, that tip is not conducive to skinny stem coloring. So all of my stems and leaves are going to be in this dark green. It's so crazy how the flowers like really come to life. You like stamp them in black and you're like, well, that looks funky. And then you add the yellow dots and you're like, oh, the flowers. And then you start coloring the stems and you're like, oh, they're real. I find that like when coloring like faces or people or like, you know, like, oh, the clothes and now they pop and now our face and the hair and wow. Like, and then of course we have that You Make My Heart Bloom. Don't forget to clean off that U that we used for the first card. Not the first card, the last one or whichever one it was. And we're just going to stamp it in Memento Black across the top. So now this is ready to go on the card front. And there's a whiter border from white to black than there is from black to yellow. So you can see there's that change there. And then I stamped the banner in the Daffodil Delight. Yeah, I cleaned it already. Onto just a scrap piece. And we're going to die cut that out. So I'm going to bring in my little mini. And I'm going to add the die to my stamped image. And then I have some Post-it tape here to hold it in place so that my die doesn't move on me while I am cranking it through. So I'm going to crank that through now. And now we have that adorable little banner. And I'll add that to my wagon with some minis. Whoa, all these are the big ones. Do I not have any of the minis? Well, let me grab a pair or a set of the minis. There we go. So we have little mini dimensionals that will fit in those little banners. You don't have to do every banner. Even I'm not doing every banner. I'm doing every other one. Let's see how those fit perfectly. You could always trim down one of your big ones. That works too. And then this is just going to go right over the wagon. How cute is that? On the inside, I did, you guessed it, banners and then some of those little hearts. So we will pull in our yellow piece, or I'm sorry, our white piece to stamp our yellow banners. And some hearts, since it says you make my heart bloom. And since we've done plenty of banners and not always the best banners on our envelopes, then I'm going to do hearts. Sort of putting the point of the heart into the corner. And then one little heart just kissed on the back. Super, super cute. Oh, wait. Oh, no, it's not this one. You could on this one. I was going to say, don't forget to add Wink of Stella. I did that on the last card, and it is stunning. I'll show you that one, but we'll save Wink of Stella for that last card. So this is card number 4. What? I didn't even adhere it in there. Okay, there we go. Card number 4. You make my heart bloom. Super, super cute. Again, that's card number 4. We have card number 3, card number 2, and card number 1. And now we will do that 5th and final card. And I gotta be careful with these ink pads. I'm trying to think of what colors I need. I don't need yellow, so we're putting that one away. And as you guessed it, the last one is the hard one. I always save the hardest one for last, right? This one is super fun, though. Oh, I also wanted to show you guys, I did the this last card in a brown wagon. I thought, we don't have to have a red wagon, right? But I really don't like it. I just feel like the brown looks like a faded out red wagon, and I wasn't as much of a fan. So let me know in the comments below, do you like the brown wagon, or do you think that it's got to be red, or do you think it's fine? But yeah, I don't know. I was kind of meh on it. But I went ahead and followed through with it, even though, again, I was floating and I'm like off-centered because I tried centering the wagon, but then whenever I added the handles. So yeah, this was one of my trials. But I went ahead and went through with it and finished it just to show you guys that I didn't like it, if that makes any sense. But yeah, so I did want to show you that one. Okay, so this last card is a piece of, I think it's 9 1/4, 9 1/2, 9 1/2 by 4 1/4. So it's your normal, like half a sheet of cardstock, 4 1/4 by 11, but then I cut it down to 9 1/2. And then I scored it at 1, 2, 3, and 4 inches. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4 inches. That is not right. Yes, it is. Sorry. It's not 9 1/2 then. Oh, yes. It's 5 1/2. I was thinking, no, a card is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. It should be a quarter. And where do I get my quarter if it's 9 1/2? Sorry, I just had a total I messed this up, but why does it look like it's going right? Sorry about that. Okay, it is 9 1/2 by 4 1/4. Again, this is why you want to get that PDF tutorial. It's got it all written out in there, and it's correct in that. So 9 1/2 by 4 1/4, and I scored it at 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, and 4 inches in. So you can go ahead and fold on that farthest in one, that 4-inch one. That is going to be your card base. Okay, so now you have that. But then what I want you to do is I want you to grab a ruler and a pencil. So we have a ruler, we have a pencil. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut out like a zigzaggy. So at score line 1, you're going to make a mark from the top down at 1 3/4 inches. So right on that score line, I just put a mark at 1 3/4 down from the top. Then I'm going to scoot over 1 and I'm going to do 1 inch down from the top. Scoot over to score line number 3, 1 inch. So you just need to remember 1 3/4, 1 inch, 1 inch. And then now we're just going to take our paper snips and we're going to cut across. So we're going to cut from the edge across to that 1 3/4. Then we're going to cut diagonally up to that 1 inch line. So from this mark, diagonally up to this mark. Then we're going to cut over to that second 1 inch mark. And then we're going to cut diagonally up from that 1 inch mark to that 4 inch, like that 4 inch score line, which is the top of your card. Okay. And then now we're just going to zigzag fold our piece. And it's going to kind of create this fun, like, layered banner. I don't know how you would describe it. But see how it's straight across, zagged up, straight across, zagged up. Got it? And now you're set. Now you're ready. That is your card base. So we have all these pieces. We're going to kind of start from the inside and work our way out, okay? So we have our first one, and this one is going to be, sorry, I never even showed you guys the sample. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So look how you have that zigzag, and it kind of sets up, and each one is like tiered. Now I will say I should have stamped my greeting low. We'll talk about that when we get there, so that you couldn't see the greeting peeking up. So you'll want to stamp this greeting down lower, but I think it's okay. But then you have like a little book. Super, super cute. So we're going to start with the first one, the innermost layer, the biggest piece of white, 4 by 5 1/4. And we're just going to stamp some confetti along the edge. I always like to rotate my image around so that it doesn't look like the same image, just going stamp, 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 because then I find it looks more like straight across, and then I find that I find imperfections more because it looks so like perfect. So I like to rotate it and move it around and really like make it look different. Okay, so this piece is done, and it goes on the like inside of the card. So it's going to go on this back panel. Okay, then we have our Daffodil Delight and the coordinating basic white that layers on top of that. And we're going to stamp those flowers in Memento Black ink. You're going to have to stamp it at least twice across in order to fill the whole piece. You can see that the flowers don't fill all the way by just stamping once. So kind of fall off the bottom and fall off the side and stamp. And then again, fall off the bottom and fall off the side. And then we also want to stamp that sending loads of happiness in Poppy Parade. So you're okay with the brown wagon. Okay, well, you know, maybe a different color combination is what I needed for that. Something else to make it pop. And then maybe I would be happy with it. But yeah, whenever I did it, I wasn't vibing it. Okay, so this is the greeting that we want to make sure that we're stamping really close to our flowers. And again, if you don't get it, then it's okay. And I colored the flowers in with Daffodil Delight, light and dark, which is the light yellow and the dark yellow. And then Poppy Parade. It looks like I just did dark Poppy Parade. And then I used Granny Apple Green Light for that one. So, and then this one I actually ended up pulling in some pink too, it looks like. And then I added Wink of Stella. So we're going to stamp that greeting one more time on this one. I feel like the center of my Poppy Parade ink pad needs to be re-inked. So look at that shimmer on those flowers. It's just a fun little added touch of adding a little bit of Wink of Stella. I love it. Okay, so then this layer is going to go onto the Daffodil Delight. And I'll color that one later. And then this one is going to go on the straight across green panel. Okay, so it's going to notch in there on that straight across green panel, which it's also going to cover up all those little like pencil marks that you made, so you don't have to worry about that. So since it's kind of like a working mechanism piece on my card, I like to use tear and tape for a nice strong hold. So I am just going to add some tear and tape. By doing it on this piece, I know that I'm not like too far in, and I'm not going to seal my card closed by adding it here. So now we're just going to set this down. It's going to go all the way in that crease and to the bottom, and then I'm going to press. And I'm pretty sure my greeting should be covered. Maybe. We'll see. So there's layer 2. So then our last layer we have as this Azure Afternoon and the white. And this one I did an entire die cut wagon. So we have the die cut wheels, the die cut wagon, the die cut handle. And you'll notice that the wheels include black, and then it includes a solid circle and then a smaller circle with that detailed rivet, which is super cute. Just adds so much detail and extraness to the wagon. And then there's the solid red, and then there's like the wood grain red that goes over the top of that. And then even the handle kind of has like an extra like detailed texture to it, which I love. I just like, it's those little details that I find to be just amazing. I am going to grab my fine tip glue pen for the handle, but you could also use mini glue dots. And so again with this one, I'm going to, like, because it's die cut, you can set it down and move it around before adhering it, unlike stamping. So I'm going to kind of put my handle out front, well, and then move it. And you really want to put your wagon on, like, first, because you want to be able to, like, put the wheels, like, over the top of that little nook. So I am going to add adhesive to this piece of red. And I have my handle out front. And I'm going to kind of place the tire down to know how high it needs to go. And press. Okay? And then now I'm going to add the handle. And I'm going to kind of sneak the handle a little bit underneath, if I can get it under there. It's also kind of wanting to fall off the front of the car or the wagon. But that's okay. And then I'm going to layer on my tires. So I didn't do any of the wagon thus far with dimensionals, but I did do the wood grain part. I will say I had a hard time lining up those gray circles. Like I felt like it would be like around, and then I would like pull, like set it down and place it down, and it would be like perfect over here, but then a big spot over there. So I don't know. And you don't have to worry about like your wagon like floating or having a flat tire, because you can always just push the tires like up into the red and no one would ever know. So now for this, I used the mini dimensionals again and added that wood piece. And then that goes right over our wagon. And I can add this to our Azure Afternoon as well. And then for that top piece, what I did is I stamped the presents. And I stamped those on basic white. Well, I guess I'll just pull this piece in. I stamped them onto basic white and die cut them with the coordinating die, and then I colored them. I used Granny Apple Green. I even pulled in some pumpkin pie, and then did light and dark Daffodil Delight. I think this is like Flirty Flamingo, Azure Afternoon, Berry Burst, Poppy Parade, Azure Afternoon, like, so just any of the Brights collection, because I felt like this card was just, you know, all the Brights, all the fun, like, primary colors. So I colored that, die cut it. You realize you don't actually have to go all the way down. There is this extra added lip, which makes it nice to be able to tuck that into your wagon. So I added a few dimensionals, sort of, like, not, I don't know why I'm using the minis. I'll be here all day. Not all the way at the bottom and not all the way at the top. So I kind of wanted it to tuck in flat and then sort of pop out. So that's why I only added a few dimensionals. And I also don't want to add all the dimensionals at the very top because it's going to hang off of my card. So now I'm just going to kind of slip this into my wagon. Maybe. I almost feel like I need to color a little farther down because, like, I want to slip it in enough that you're not going to see. There we go. There we go. I slipped it in and, like, down far enough. But, like, see how these pieces come up? So I didn't want to add dimensionals there. Otherwise, it would show. But then I just tucked that down in there. And it looks so nice with that 3D look. And then now we'll add tear and tape along here and add it to our card front. There's a lot of pictures and diagrams on the PDF tutorial to help show you the cutting and the placement of this and extra photos and stuff like that. So don't worry if I lost you on any of it. You can also rewatch the replay and see what that looks like in case it got a little confusing there towards the end with this fun card. But look, you can't see my greeting. So it's okay. Like this one, you know, you can see the greeting, but this one you can't. So it's a little bit clean, but you have that perfect little flower here that looks so fun. And I love it. It's so cute. You can write your message on the inside and have it still be covered up, but then you still have the fun greetings, sending loads of happiness. And like, it just sits up so cutely that you could have it, you know, on a mantle or at your desk or something like that. I love it. And then we can decorate the envelope since we've done a lot of banners. Why don't we do some confetti? Oh, here it is. I was going to say, but I don't know where my confetti went. I'll try to just be quick with a little confetti at the bottom here. No one is probably going to like notice this, but like I am noticing that since I'm stamping it, like I said, I'm stamping like the same image over and over and over again. I feel like you can see that it just kind of looks like, it actually looks like dirt pebbles or something like that. Whereas whenever I rotated the image and mixed it up, then it actually looks like floating confetti. So that's why I like to turn things, you know, this way and that to really get those different looks and stuff. But that is card number 5 for our online card class tonight. Let me know in the comments which one you are loving the most, with the little red wagon or that fun fold at the end, the beautiful presents. Then we have balloons and make your own designer series paper with this quick and simple one in the beginning. So I hope all of those are showing. This is one of the online exclusives that Stampin' Up! Launched. This is called the Filled with Fun stamp set and coordinating dies. So you can get the bundle and save 10% whenever you purchase them together. I'm super loving this, and I hope you guys loved this class too and enjoyed all the little stamping tips and tricks. Stay tuned for the April online card class. I think it's April like 24th or something like that. It's like the third Friday of the month at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. And definitely don't forget to like and subscribe here on Facebook and as well as on YouTube so you don't miss out on any of my videos. Mostly on YouTube, I'm doing shorts. And then, of course, I do these free online card classes too. And follow my blog at LaurasStampPad.com for lots of other details and information. I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, stay warm, cold, whatever temperatures you have in your region for this spring. And wishing you guys all a happy Easter. Love, hugs, and prayers to all of you guys. Have a wonderful weekend.